Section 230 creates or establishes the Supreme Court, and then Section 231 also established the office of the CJN, and then subsection 3 of Section 231 also spells out how a Chief Justice of Nigeria can be appointed. Subsection 4 creates how an acting can be appointed when there is a vacuum. And subsection 5 also gives room, creates the tenure of that anybody that is acting in that position. And that if you look at subsection 5 of Section 231, it's very clear. It says, except on the recommendation of the Judicial Council, an appointment pursuant to the provision of subsection 4 shall cease to have effect after 3 months. And then the president shall not reappoint a person whose appointment has lapsed. A holistic interpretation of that section means that if anybody holding that office on an acting capacity is to be reappointed, it must be on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. And that the president, it was also in the news, like you are aware, that the president had forwarded such recommendation to the NJC before now for approval. And NJC just subsequently approved, and then before the announcement. And so for me, really, there is nothing, out of place. I think Justice Onoge also was, his tenure in acting capacity was extended pursuant to subsection 5 of Section 231 before the then acting president, the current vice president, subsequently confirmed his appointment. And so there's really nothing out of place. And but the only issue some have argued is that if you look at Section 306 of the Constitution that talks about resignation, if you look at Onoge had sent in his resignation before the indictment by the Code of Conduct, and so there seems to be a problem. Some people are asking the question, what happens? Does the resignation take precedence over the ouster by the Code of Conduct Tribunal? So those are basically, a few issues.
Right.
But for this one, it's really not out of place. It's normal, it's traditional, and the law makes provisions for it.
All right, so now that you've said it's not out of place, at what point do you think a substantive CJN will emerge?
I think before the expiration of this tenure extension, or acting the acting CJN's position that is extended pursuant to subsection 5, maybe if or otherwise. And you also know that the president starts the new tenure come May 25th, and so I think they will probably put their house in order before inauguration. And if they are not able to put their house in order, maybe immediately after inauguration, they should be able to put their house in order, pursuant to Section 231 of the Constitution. And so, really, although we saw this coming, but I think also it is tied there. Maybe the government also wants to ensure that the issue of Onoge is constitutionally dealt with by the courts conclusively before appointing a substantive CJN, because the matter, as you are aware, the Onoge has appealed to even though he has resigned anyway, and so that means there's a vacuum in that office. Whatever is the appeal will be determined would be whether his indictment will stand or not. But as for occupation of that office, he had resigned, and so even if the president takes steps to appointing a substantive CJN, the Onoge issue will no longer be an issue. So they can take steps and begin to look for how to fill that vacuum.